All right. Hello, and good morning, Facebook land. What's up, YouTubers? How we doing out there? Thank you for joining me. As always, it's nice to see you. Connecticut Medical Marijuana Critic, Compound Concentration Coffee. We're here, we're up, we're on the air. It's your SunDaze edition. How you doing out there? Good morning, Lisa. How are you, my friend? Nice to see you in Facebook land. What's the good word? There we go. BioTrek. That is our theme song. CC&C, Compound Concentration Coffee. Gotta love Austin Woodward. So what's happening, everybody? How we doing out there, Facebookers? What's up, YouTubers? Now, for the first hour today, we were asked, so coming your way, nothing but blues. I hope you enjoy. Gotta kick it off. A little bit of Junkyard Storytellers. Bad Kind of Mongrel.
I made it again to you. But the species to kill you earlier than you probably wanna share. Remember, from early morning till late night when it close your eyes, you have only yourself your familiar and some place.
All right, that was Bad Kind of Mongrel. Again, the artist Junkyard Storytellers. Now, making a debut. Ilya Truinoff. It's a tune called The Roads. Right here on CC&C. Good morning, Christopher. Nice to see you in Facebook. What's the good word? The Roads right there. Ilya Truinoff making a debut here on CC&C for all of you. Now we're going to do another Junkyard Storytellers tune. It's Ball of Live. Continuing on with your blues block. Extended block. You're getting your first hour all blues. doing? That's your toy. That's your toy. Yes, that's your toy. I can spell it. Oh, that's how I spell it. Oh, little scratch catch. Oh, little stretch. There you go. There you go. Yeah. That's my boy. Yes, he's Daddy's boy. That was Ball of a Lie. Next up is Railway Station. Excuse me, Railway Station. It's all good, Kelly. Thank you for sharing. No, I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good day. There you go. Railway Station. Next up is Take a Night Train. Much better. How are you, Polly? Nice to see you over there on Facebook. I hope your day is going well. Well, the first hour is all blues today. Nothing but the blues. Right there again, that artist, Junkyard Storytellers. You heard Take a Night Train. Next up, Junkyard Storytellers with Last Poor Man Shot. Got to put up an Instagram post. Yep. Oh yeah. I'm gonna put out a tweet. We have Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. We have a whole bunch of different social medias. We signed up for over 60. Last count was 63, I believe it was. Just spreading the word. Last Poor Man Shot is the tune you are currently listening to. Much love, absolutely. This beautiful SunDaze, and I do mean beautiful.
In the clean black night.
It's already over 60. 61 degrees right now. .61 degrees out. It is absolutely beautiful right now. Next up is a tune called Love Junkie. Do what you gotta do, it's all good. What's up, YouTubers? What is the good word? How you doing out there? Real-time analytics says there's 6 of you sitting in the room right now. Hi. Facebookers, we got 4 over there. What's up? right, next up is Bluesy Mood from the artist Uncle Boris. There you go, Bluesy Mood, Uncle Boris. You know what? I'm going to jump over actually here. It's All Gone is the name of this track. It's another one from Uncle Boris.
I'm just a kid and a grown-up buddy, and I didn't expect, but it would go so far. But now it's all gone. But now it's all
coming up to the end of It's All Gone. Gonna be rolling over to a tune. It's by Global Genius. Some of you might know it. Some of you might know what it is. It's a tune called Plaid Pants and Arrow. Again, you are hearing Uncle Boris is the artist, and it's called It's All Gone. Now, as I said, Plaid Pants in Peril. Little Global Genius. As I said, some of you may know what this song was for. Somebody's gone fancy now and has her own entrance music.
I like this song.
I'm going to run out some water, so...
Get in this zone.
Yikes.
What?
Yikes.
That was funny.
It was something. It was something.
Everybody's a critic.
That,
They're not getting any better. You're not getting any better, Johnny. You're not.
I'm gonna go grab something. I'll be right back. Come on, buddy.
My little districts.
He wasn't going to leave the top of the stairs. I left him sitting up there. He was down the bottom.
My half-awake little
It's that,
co-host.
or at that moment, he likes the fact that he's actually over the video. So he just kind of stands there and stares. I mean, it's one of the two.
Ugh. Oof. Good morning and happy Sundays to any and all out there.
Yeah, I was just talking about it. I was over at the analytics pages. You had 7 according to the real-time analytics here, and you had 4 according to the real-time analytics over on Facebook.
Well, I was about to sigh. To any and all who are watching, who are stalking, who are peeking out from behind a tree with your laptop or phone, I guess. I mean, if you're peeking out. I mean, you know, we've all said it. We don't judge in here. It is SunDaze. I am JC. This is JC's theme song. This is JC's Power Hour, and this is JC's co-host, Chase with that face.
And this is JC talking about herself in the third person.
And this is Brian being a pain in the butt. But you should be
This
used
is
to
me
that.
being my normal self.
Yes, I love you. I love you very much. Yes, I do. I don't know why I like this song so much. It's just got this otherworldly feel to it. There are a lot of songs that I like. You know, no vocals, anything. Just the music will put you in a good spot. You know what I mean? I think some people don't fully appreciate songs that have no lyrics. You know, I mean, most people do.
We had a song that started out with lyrics and ended up
Oh, I know.
performed without them. I mean, it wasn't even that people disliked the lyrics. They actually just dug
Yeah,
the instrumental for what it was for.
yeah, exactly.
Although, again, I always thought it was funny. It was one of the most requested instrumentals that we did, and yet Monty couldn't stand it. He didn't like doing They Come On In.
You know, I've noticed with most bands, most singers, their most famous song, the one that gets requested the most, they all get sick of it, and
Remember, Monty was the drummer.
Yes, I know.
He just, I don't know. I think he just didn't appreciate sharing the limelight, because on that song, it was the two of us on the drums. Ooh.
Oh, gonna be like that.
I am.
Gonna go that route.
Yep. The first time we did that up in Hartford, purely unscripted. Never practiced it before. That place went nuts when we did it.
Well, you have a habit of driving people nuts. Come on, it was funny. Funny, I say. Everybody's a critic again, I say. Yeah, I know. Mommy made the same joke twice in 5 minutes. I know. It was bad. I know. Sometimes you just go with what you got. You know what? I've been writing, so I am coming up with new material technically, so meh. I'm not a comedian per se. I have comedic undertones.
Get to use those juices. Use those juices.
I
Oi. Oi nothing.
just oyed at you.
Yeah, oi nothing.
Oh, I oy again. Ow, you fucking whore, that hurt.
I'll be back, everybody. I'm going to leave on that note.
Nobody should be able to flick that hard. What the fuck?
You know,
Keys help?
while I was checking my pockets, and I remembered I hung them back up on the board so I'd know where they were.
Your daddy's silly. So, anywho, it is JC's Power Hour. Again, for those watching, for those stalking, for those just having me on in the background, for whatever reason, who just want to listen. Hi! How's it going? For those who don't know, JC's Power Hour is normally sports talk. Unfortunately, there haven't been near as many sports to talk about as we would like. So I do talk about other stuff. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, shoot me a comment, shoot me an idea. So long as we stay out of politics and religion, you know, that's for a whole different genre. We don't do that here. Not that I won't discuss it, but I can't discuss it here. I love a good political debate, but not here, because political debates go very quickly from debate to argument, so we don't do that. We don't bring the vibe down. But I will talk about different things that have happened during the week, and a couple of things to mention, unfortunately, is it has been just a craptacular week for losing famous people. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. It has been just a horrible week for losing people, and I mean, yesterday was 4 people just in one day. It was Phyllis George, who is a former Miss America and TV personality. She died at 70. Unfortunately, Lynn Shelton, who is a really good director, who has worked with one of my favorite actresses, Allison Janney, and who's done quite a good amount of things, especially for being, you know, in a male-dominated position. She really took the reins and was described as an actor's director. She did really good work. Unfortunately, she passed away. She was only 54. She had a complications from I don't remember specifically what. She had a blood disease that wasn't really caught early enough, from what I was gathering. They didn't go into huge detail the last time I read. I mean, more details might come out, but basically it was what it sounds like, it was an undiscovered condition, and probably by the time it was discovered had gone too far, unfortunately. You know, sometimes that shit happens, sadly. Two more. For those of you who watch Trading Spaces, I've watched it, not religiously, but I have watched it, you know, here and there. And one of the designers, he was 72, Frank Bilek. I really hope so I'm pronouncing your name properly. You know, you guys know me with names. I suck. Especially with somebody with a complicated last name that everybody fucks up. You'd think I'd be a little better at it, but no, I'm not. Which is why I really don't get mad when people screw my name up. And also, a wonderful comedian who, if you watch TV or movies, or even listen to cartoons, you know that people do voiceovers on, you've seen and heard him somewhere. Fred Willard was 86. I'm sorry, yeah, 86. I thought it said 88. He was 86. And he was just a absolutely wonderful, you know, obviously a wonderful comedian. Just his presence, he didn't have to do, you know, he didn't have to go, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He was a very good supporting role character, I guess, in a lot of ways. He didn't have to be, like, as flamboyant as, say, um, like a Jim Carrey. He didn't have to be like so out there. Not that Jim Carrey's comedy isn't good, but you know what I'm saying. He didn't have to be blat in your face. He was just really good, either with a straight line or just with the supporting little line under it, and he'll definitely be missed. I mean, God knows he lived a good long life, and cause of death was listed as natural causes. I mean, he was 86. I mean, you get to a certain age and your time could just expire. Some people go a lot longer than others. It is what it is. But he'll be missed definitely. I mean, pick a show that you like I said, pick a show that you've watched. You've probably seen him in it. I mean, he's been in Roseanne. He did a long stint on Modern Family, which a lot of people are a fan of. He did cartoon voiceovers. He did shows from the 70s. He did movies. I mean, long list. So that's one of the ones that that one hurts. We'll miss him definitely. A heartbreaking one. Melissa Etheridge. Melissa Etheridge's son. Yeah, I know. I struggle. I'm okay. Her son was 21 or 22. And unfortunately, he passed. And it seems, from what reports are coming out now, the reports didn't come out right away, but unfortunately, it seems that he died of an opiate overdose. So, way too young. And, to be lost to something like that is just heartbreaking. Now, this story had made national news years ago, but it's actually out of Connecticut. A 22-year-old lady who was 17 at the time that she first made the news. She was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and did not want to be treated with chemo. She wanted to explore alternate cures. Her own words, she didn't want to put that poison in her body. And at 17 years old, many of us who read the story really thought at 17, in such a situation like that, you should be able to control your own destiny, or at least look into other things. She made national news because she was ordered by DCF to be removed from her parents' home. She was basically forced to go through chemo. She was living in a hospital for 6 months during this. And ultimately she succumbed. And that one makes me angry because there's no guarantee of any other cure or other treatment working. But honestly, I think she should have been able to have her own say in that, to be honest. One of the other big stars that we lost this week, God bless him, he was 92. I mean, he had a wonderful, full life, but it's one of those that hurts too, because he was just a funny guy, is Jerry Stiller. Again, most people know him. He's been on, he was on Seinfeld, he was on King of Queens, he was in different movies here and there, other sitcoms, smaller roles and whatnot. Just very, again, a very funny guy. He could be both. He could just give that little quiet line just with the perfect delivery that, you know, was comedic gold. Or he could be like right up in your face, like on Seinfeld playing George Costanza's father. He could be really up in your face, obnoxious, funny, and he was just a very funny guy. And again, I've said this a lot of times. The true judge of an actor, comedian, a sports figure, not only is how they do their chosen, what do you call it? Their chosen field, but it's also how they are remembered and how they are who they stay friends with afterwards. Like, no TV show lasts forever except for The Simpsons. They're not going to go anywhere. But when shows end, and I've heard this in a lot of interviews from a lot of actors, you have this cool temporary family because it's like it's your workplace. And we've all worked in places where we get along great with the people we work with, and then for whatever reason we have to trade jobs. And a lot of times we lose touch with people that we were close to, Unfortunately, that's happened to me. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I found out that the son of one of the girls I used to work with passed away, and I reached out to her, to offer my condolences and say I missed her, and I even said this is not the way I want to reconnect with you, and we never parted on bad terms. It was just one of those weird things, and especially in actors where their life is so busy and they go from one job to the other and one sitcom to another, one movie to another, the ones who maintain the friendships over the years in a very, very busy and hectic and crazy lifestyle, I guess you would call it, the ones that stay friends and want to stay in contact with each other are the ones who form real, real bonds. And, he was one of those who, stayed close with a lot of the guys and gals he acted with. And he will be missed, as everybody else will. Over in the NFL, unfortunately, we did lose somebody also. Michael McCaskey, former Bears chairman, passed away at 76. It's been a rough week. I like that this week there have been a lot of quote unquote graduations. They couldn't do like full ceremonies. But a lot of football stars, a lot of actors, even former presidents, President Obama, gave like a lot of cyber commencement speeches, And I like that because that's a way of giving back to the next generation and giving back to somebody who's worked really hard to graduate from college and stuff like that. And that's a great way to use whatever celebrity you have to encourage the next generation. There's always a feeling of, those who give back are really special. So this is a good thing. Two other, I don't know what's going on with some of these guys in, I don't know if it's the boredom. I don't know if it's the stuck at home stuff. I don't know what it is. But there were a couple of arrests in football this weekend, and I don't know what's going on with these guys. Like I said, Redskins receiver Cody Latimer was arrested for assault, illegal discharge of a firearm. I know, buddy. I don't understand it either. But I'm going to go over things that happened, and then I'm going to give my opinion of the things that happened. Bills lineman Ed Oliver was arrested on DWI and gun charges. And Giants DeAndre Baker and Seahawks Quentin Dunbar both turned themselves in on armed robbery charges. Now, may I just say, what the frick? I mean, what is going on around here? I mean, sure, everybody's bored, but let's not get crazy now, children. Especially now, Cody Latimer for the Redskins. It seems like it was an argument. People said they heard a gun discharge in the apartment. So he's got he was released on 25,000, but he's got felony charges of assault in the second degree, menacing, and illegal discharge of a firearm, misdemeanor charges of prohibited use of a weapon and reckless endangerment. I don't want any of the teams to do anything until they know like the entire story, but any of these guys are seriously endangering their careers, besides, in a couple of cases, endangering others. I mean, the Bills lineman Ed Oliver driving while intoxicated and having, unlawfully carrying a weapon. I mean, he had an open beer with him and he failed the sobriety test. Again, these guys are going to screw up their careers, and Oliver is only second year in, so he's going to screw up his career before it even gets there if he's not careful. Now, Baker and Dunbar supposedly the robbery occurred during an illegal dice gambling game. So, like, everything there is sketchy. We're gonna have to see how that one plays out. But this is four guys with really good careers, good prospects. And I'm gonna go back to what I've said quite a few times. One of the problems with these guys, and any of them, not just these four guys, any of these guys who come up through high school, go to college, do well enough in college to get signed by a professional team, and it's not just football, it's basketball, it's hockey, it's any professional sport, it's anything like this. There is a big hidden danger behind the curtain, and that is everybody matures in a different speed. You can't just say across the board, by 18 you should have this level of maturity, by 25 you should have this level of maturity, by 30 you should have this level of maturity. It doesn't work like that. It's a combination of factors. It's a combination of how you're brought up, a combination of what you've gone through in your life, combination of your personality. Exactly. Combination of your goals in life, of who you want to be. I mean, some people straight up just don't want to act like an adult. I mean, let's be realistic. Some people just don't. Some people, just embrace being childlike. And, I have plenty of childish moments. I like being silly. I like, doing a lot of things. But I also like being responsible, and I would get very upset. Like, I've been sick the whole weekend. And I was supposed to work yesterday and today, and I couldn't. So I don't like that, and that's a part of maturity that, you try to push yourself, and I've been pushing myself like every day, and eventually you just push yourself up against the wall and you can't do it anymore. These guys ranged in age from 22 to, I think the oldest was 27 out of the 4 who were charged. At 22, you're coming into a certain level of fame, money that you wouldn't normally have, working at McDonald's or something like that. Relax, buddy. Relax, buddy. You're okay. And sometimes you just can't handle what you've now gotten. Sometimes you're gonna make, and we all make bad decisions, don't get me wrong. We've all done stupid things in our life, especially when we were younger. 51-year-old me looks at some of the things I did, 17, 18, 19 years old, and I'm like, wow, I was an asshole, wasn't I? And we all do. But the difference is, these guys now have a stupid amount of money to do this stuff with. Ugh. I agree, Scott. I mean, sometimes, there's a fun way in being, like I said, there's fun in being a 10-year-old. I mean, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people consider video games immature and, a lot of different things. Before I I still play. I play not only, I really haven't played any of the newest video games because I haven't gotten myself a new system yet, but, I'll sit back with, the older games that I've had that I've beaten and played, and I know a lot of people who would call that immature. I mean, my sister-in-law, for one, can't fathom playing video games. I'm like, well, then you need to loosen the hell up. But, to each their own. But to be fair, my sister-in-law needs to loosen up in a lot of different ways. But that's neither here nor there. But, I honestly think, and I don't know, maybe there is a big market for it. A lot of these guys, they hire managers, and agents and stuff like that. And honestly, I think what needs to be done, I mean, I honestly think for a lot of these guys, having an agent who's more like a big sister, who will, basically wrap you in the back of the head like Gibbs when you do something stupid, might keep these guys a little more in line. I mean, you can't just, I understand that, it's a business and this is what the agents do and they take on as many clients as they can, but I think it would be really nice if part of being an agent could possibly be, hey, you know, let's sit down and talk about where you're going, what you're doing, you know. Are you going to, you know, screw something up over here? This is what you're doing. You know, maybe let's go a little easy. Let's not screw your life up quite so early in the game. You know, I mean, it would definitely help. Not everybody has the maturity level. And, you know, that's nobody's fault. Some guys are really natural born leaders. Again, I'll refer to Mahomes over there, because this kid, I mean, not only is great on the field, but he just has that natural leadership skills. I mean, this kid, if he wasn't a football player, I could see him starting a company and being a CEO by the time he was 40. You know, I mean, he's just that kind of guy. Not everybody's like that. And again, you don't have to be, but it would be nice for these guys to, you know, for somebody to have their back. So, again, I really hope that appropriate measures are taken, but I don't want, like, you know, people losing jobs before, like, everything comes out. I mean, if they did something stupid, then sure, you reap what you sow, but let it play out first. Especially in a time right now where courts are moving slow and everything is going on, and it's a lot easier to fuck up somebody's reputation than to fix it afterwards. So, let's hope for that. Now, on positive note, we are about halfway through May, right? What the heck is today's date? Today is the 17th. Holy crap, we are halfway through May. Ah! Don't the days just all run together lately? Yeah. But NFL teams can begin reopening their facilities this coming week. It's a start. No coaches yet. No non-rehabbing players yet. But if protocols are met, we're gonna start opening. We're gonna start getting there. Slowly but surely. You know, it's phase 1. And once we get, you know, once we make some positivity here, exactly. Once we get some positivity going here, we can start opening and start moving on. And hopefully, we could actually have football start. You know what? I'm cool. That's a dog. I believe it is a dog in a car across the street. It is not a dog coming into the house to annoy you. You are a good guard dog on your perch there. You really are. But I do not think that you're being threatened. I do not think anyone is coming. I believe that is a dog in the car across the street. From what I heard, the bark. It's okay. You could stay on your perch, or you could jump down. And hello everybody out there who does join and just pop in and not say hi, but I do see you, so hi. Where was I? As I was saying, yes. You know, the preseason games, maybe we'll just, you know, if you have to do games without players, not without players, without fans, maybe the preseason games, maybe, but see, the problem is this is such an unknown. I honestly don't think that there is a complete positivity on knowing how this thing is transmitted. I mean, the world can't stop forever. Oh, I'm right here. But eventually we're gonna figure things out. And it's not, of course I'm very excited for sports and for music and for everything to start up again. I mean, I think a lot of us are. I have friends who are in bands, and you know, they're like a really big chunk of their lives is their band and is their playing. I mean, some of these guys, that's like the basis of what they do, and they've been on hold for months now, and they've had gigs canceled left and right. And it's not just the bigger, you know, superstars.
Although some musicians are actually loving this quarantine thing right now, because they just put up videos every day. Zach Wild has been putting up different guitar videos every day.
Well, sure. I mean, if you're smart, you're using the time to create. I mean, if I wasn't an essential employee and I'd been home all this time, I think I'd be done with Book 5 by now, because I wouldn't have let all that time go.
It's not just about smarts, too, you know.
No, you can't force creativity, but, you know, when you have the time to do it.
Right.
I mean, I've always said, when I write my book, I have always said I cannot force myself to write.
This is true.
Because if you force the words to come out, then when you go back and look at them, they're going to be crap and you're going to take them all out anyway.
Or you can just edit them. That's what editing is for.
Well, yeah, but I learned this very early on, that like when I am not feeling it and I just force it to try to force it to write, when I go back, I mean, I've pulled out entire scenes that just...
Didn't work.
No, I mean, my first draft always is an edit. You've seen how I do. Sometimes I have sentences that are like 300 words, because I literally would rather get the idea out.
Yeah.
Then when I go through and start editing it, then I break it into sentences and paragraphs and, you know,
Sure.
whatnot.
Speaking of writing, do you know where a pen is?
In my shirt,
Where's your shirt?
on that couch, it should be.
Can I use it?
You want to use my precious pen?
Is there a pen that's less precious to you that I can use?
You know, I had so many pens at one point, and you all pen thieved on me. But yeah,
They're gone, and that way you don't
go
use
ahead
them
and take it.
use laptops.
If you need a pen, go right ahead.
Thanks.
Who am I to deny you to write something? I'd like to think you're writing something important, but it's probably just notes for speedrunning.
And that's not important?
Well, to you it is. I told you, speedrunning is a glitch in my head. I'm not sure that I like the idea of speedrunning because it doesn't savor the game, but to each their own. You want to run it, go ahead and run it. You don't want to savor the moment. You want to just, you know, inhale the filet mignon in one bite and not savor the taste. Go right ahead. Bring me a Pepsi while you're being dramatic.
Chase Sleeper, mommy.
Chase takes very good care of his mommy.
I know Chase takes care of his mom. That's fine.
I didn't say it wasn't important. It's not just because of you. If Randy,
Although that might have a factor in it.
no, if Randy speed ran, I would break his chops the same way. But Randall's like me; he enjoys to savor the game like I do.
I like savoring games too. You fucking nitwit.
You see the abuse I take?
I'm playing a Castlevania game.
Well, that certainly shouldn't be speed run. You should
I'm not speedrunning
you should
that game.
savor every moment of the which
You
Castlevania
should
game.
see the map right now, Symphony of the Night for PlayStation. So it
Yeah,
might be-
those are games that you savor.
Oh no, I've watched the speedrun of the game that you love, and that is 35 minutes?
I have actually, without trying.
This is also why I've actually thought about it, especially when I was talking about it before with your, I know, the little foot. But I've actually thought about it before. Your big, run, the one where you got all 20 waves and stuff,
Oh, I'm on wave 19, by the way.
that had to be some sort of speed run because you definitely got used to the area.
I was going to say, technically, on my favorite Castlevania, without trying, I probably did do a speed run
Yes.
all the way up to the clock tower. Because I've done that in one guy, just right through.
And then died at the clock tower. Yeah, that's usually where the runs get killed too. Don't worry, that's not just you. The professionals get killed there.
Because that damn clock tower.
Those jumps are very bad, and the platforms where they disappear as you're walking up them
Suck.
actually cause lag. There are platforms that move in Mega Man X that do the same exact thing. You can only dash jump off of them in a certain way, or else you are going to lose your input and you're going to fall. It's just inevitable. Certain SNES games are like that. You can't really fix that.
So I have to be in an elite. Put your paw down. I have to be in an elite group that I can get all the way to the clock tower in one guy.
You're definitely in a good group. You definitely, know your game, and that's awesome.
But that clock tower.
That clock tower. That game's a good game.
It is. Go away. You're not sports.
I'm not sports. You don't have to talk about just sports, but
Yes, I know. I'm tormenting you.
you're talking about video games now. That's not sports. Well, esports.
I like video games and I talk video games.
Talk about whatever you want. Your show. Your power.
I am.
Your job.
In a feel-good story, to continue on with the NFL, in a feel-good story this week, and one of the ways that I have said it's important to not only remember where you came from, but to I honestly think part of it is staying humble, because some of the best players have been described as humble, like Troy Polamalu. I mean, he could have been one of the most egotistical guys on the planet, because he could, especially in the peak of his game, I mean, he really could do no wrong. There was nothing that guy couldn't do. And he could have been one of the biggest egomaniacs on the planet, and he was not. One of the first things that almost everybody who knew him personally would call him was humble. So, I mean, and in a very feel-good move, Drew Brees from the New York, Jesus, my brain is not braining today. Told you I haven't been feeling good. Drew Brees from the New Orleans Saints. Yeah. Called Texas high school quarterback Calder Hodge, who plays football despite having both legs amputated above the knee when he was younger. He called him obviously via Skype. He couldn't, actually go and chit-chat with him. But, had some great words of encouragement for him. Said that, he can't wait to see him play, and, You know, it's feel good stories like that that we really all should focus on. I mean, there are lots and lots of there's lots of crap in the news every day, and we all know that. There's lots of bad things. There's lots of bad people. But there's everywhere, not just with high caliber superstars, but everywhere. There's good people out there. And all you have to do is look for them. You know, I'm not one of those people who say, you know, don't ever watch the news, ignore all the news and everything like that, because that's unrealistic. B, you really should know what's going on in the world, but be careful where you get your news sources from and who you listen to, because even in something as simple as the weather, if you listen to 5 different channels, you're going to get 5 different reports. So, you know, one of the more important things is just, you know, watch what you're doing, be careful. But for every bad thing that you listen to, try to find something good. Be it in a local news, be it in a nationwide news. Find something good. So, these things what's the matter, buddy? Huh? Relax. What's the matter? They're not here. Look at you, bringing your toy to the window. You're like, I'm going to show them my toy. Nobody's here, honey. It's okay. It's okay. Yes, you have a beautiful toy. I swear, it is the nicest toy I have ever seen. I have never seen a toy to rival your toy. Never. And I see doggies all the time on my route, and I have never seen a toy better than yours. I promise you. You have an awesome toy. Okay? You really do. And down. There he goes. Sorry, he needs to be reassured once in a while. I mean, you know, toy. What could be better than a toy? Okay, I suppose I should address the elephant in the room with the Steelers, because, you know, I can't be accused of not saying bad things about my team, or even guys that aren't on my team anymore. But a weird story came out this week regarding James Harrison. When it first came out, when it first came out, they were saying that Harrison said Mike Tomlin gave him a quote, you know, gave him an envelope after he did a hit on what's his name, Muhammad Massaquoi. Obviously years ago, because Harrison hasn't been on the team for a bit. Oh, what's the matter? If you're tired, lay down. And so, rumors were then, you know, going around in full board that, you know, Tomlin had a bounty on people and a hitman list, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. And Hello, Lassie. How are you today? I see you out there. Ugh. Ugh, gotta get a new chair. But, good lord. Noisy little bug. For the if you are new to the show, I am JC. This is JC's Power Hour, which I do every Sunday. Mainly talking about sports, but we will basically talk about anything, for the hour show, not including religion or politics. And this is my co-host, Chase. He's a bit of a mama's boy. He likes hanging out. But like I was saying, in response to those stories, Harrison himself went on social media and seemed to be quite angry at the fact that people were saying what they were saying, and basically straight up said he had never had a list out there. He had never paid anybody to intentionally, hard hit somebody. And also that, saying, you should have looked at the hit you're talking about and what was going on. And so, I mean, it's one of those weird stories that comes out in the off season about a guy who isn't even on the team anymore, that seems to be half-truths. Again, which is why I say a lot of these stories you have to be a little concerned with, because believe me, I get it as a writer and as, doing sports talk. You don't always have stories to fill the time. You don't always have the material. You don't always, if sports were playing right now, I'd have a lot more to talk about. There are things to talk about, but it's not obviously nowhere near filled to capacity as it would be if we weren't going through what we're going through. So, again, not just in sports, but in anything, be careful some of the stories that you're going to hear, even in the entertainment world, anything. People are going to be looking to fill column inches. People are going to be looking to keep writing. And some people will just write for the showy headline, or will just write for the clicks, will just write for the sake of writing. And not everybody is like me or some of the other writers who try to keep integrity, I guess. Try to fact check. I mean, now again, talking about we'd have more to talk about. There's been no baseball. We should be well into the season by now. Well into the season. We should be into the season. We should have stuff to talk about. We should be seeing who's in first, who's in last. But there are plans on the table to try to get, they're aiming to try to get the season to start 4th of July weekend, which is normally the halfway point, and the All-Star break. Right? Right. Oh, big yawn. Yes, I know. And I'm bored too with no sports. I really am. Hopefully football's gonna be back so you can watch Mommy yell at the TV. Because, that's what Mommy likes to do. I haven't been able to yell at the TV at all. Except for wrestling. I mean, yes. You're lucky I love you. Chris Berman doesn't put up with this stuff. There you go. So, one of the funny things, in the safety proposal is, I mean, logically, thorough testing. I get that you want to test the guys. I've heard conflicting reports of how long the virus gestates. I know that the testing is nasal swabs. So I feel bad for these guys if, like, once a week they have to have the test done. If it's, like, mandatory that they have to have that freaking Q-tip shoved up their nose once a week. I mean, yuck. I mean, doing it if you have symptoms is bad enough, but like once a week preventative, that's a lot. I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure if the baseball union would go for that. I mean, that's like, going towards HIPAA laws and going towards, I don't know. It just gets in sketchy territory when you have to mandate certain things. But I'm not a lawyer, so I'm staying out of that. But they want to do social distancing playing the games. You can't play the game in social distance. I mean, if somebody's on first, you're going to have somebody covering first, and there goes that 6 feet. Also, I find it funny that one of the things they want to mandate is no spitting, which sounds funny because, you say to some people are just like, well, spitting's a nasty habit anyway, and sure, it is, but, especially some of the guys, chew gum and chew stuff and like, to them, spitting is kind of like touching your face when you wear glasses, because they're all like, don't touch your face. Okay, yeah, I wear glasses. I touch my face like 5,000 times a day. I can't not touch my face. It doesn't happen. I try. Can't. And it's not, I'm doing it, on purpose. It's not, I'm doing it to be a rebel. It's not, I'm doing it because I don't care. Nope. It's such a normal thing. It's very hard to break certain habits when the habits are just so ingrained and just so there. It's like, okay, what? But we'll get there. Eventually this is going to start again. One thing I haven't given props for yet, and I shall do that now, is this past Sunday, was WWE's, well, good morning, David from New Orleans, and how are you over there, sir? The WWE held their Money in the Bank ladder match, And you know what? I said it before. I said it before the match that I was really looking forward to it because honestly, with what's going on, they were able to think out of the box and they were able to play out of the box basically because they had no other choice. And I really really give them and the competitors who were in the main event, the ladder match, just so much props and credit because it was really entertaining as hell. It really was. I mean, entertaining to the point that seriously, I mean, you could do next year's ladder match like that, and I don't think too many would complain. Or you could do certain matches the way that they were done, but I mean, it just was from beginning to end. It was funny in places. It was entertaining. It was um, a very certainly unique. Certainly unique genre to see, and it was funny because literally going through the WWE headquarters, and it was legit. Their building. I mean, their building's right in Connecticut. It was truly their building and their offices that they did this with. I mean, obviously, I am sure there are certain ones that were locked, so that people, didn't see stuff they weren't supposed to see, and B, I'm sure like the most expensive things were locked away so they didn't get broken by accident. But it was definitely, their building, and so basically they could do what they want, what was authorized. I mean, Corbin throwing a pretty hefty weight into one of the mirrors and shattering it was pretty funny. I mean, we all saw it coming. I mean, they were fighting in the weight room with all the mirrors and everything. I mean, we knew something was going to break. I mean, that was just inevitable. Um, uh, one of the one of the really funnier moments. It was funny enough that we saw Paul Heyman there because we really haven't seen too much of him of late, and basically acting like he was just hanging out, at a buffet table, like it was set up for the guys after the match or whatever, and basically having it turn into a humongous food fight. And then all of a sudden, like, everybody remembered, oh yeah, we're in the middle of a match, and then they just kept going. I mean, it was very entertaining. It was very funny. A couple of places you felt for the wrestlers because again, they were putting it on the line. Poor little Rey Mysterio, man, he got squished between Nia Jax and Otis, and I really think he just turned into a pancake. Poor little guy. But ultimately, spoiler alert if you didn't watch it, but it was a week ago, so ultimately the two who won, because it was, and again, it was also very interesting because it wasn't two separate matches. It was the men and the women, going through the building at the same time. The women started in the front lobby, the men started in the weight room. So at least they started in different spots, and they ended up passing each other plenty of times, and interacting plenty of times. showing that he was absolutely staying, you know, to his bad guy self. The first ones up to the ladders where the um, briefcases were. Couldn't think of the word briefcase for some reason. But Asuka and Corbin were the first two there. And honestly, both could have just gone up the ladders because there were two ladders, one underneath the women's, one underneath the men's. You know, honestly, if Corbin was smart, he would have just shot up there, ignoring Asuka, and grabbed his briefcase because he had a bit of a head start. But again, showing that he is truly one of the bad guys, and you know, for whatever reason, he tried to stop Asuka from getting hers. You know, whether it was the heat of competition, whatever. But, you know, of course, got everybody yelling, "What the hell are you doing?" And she's tiny, but she's tough as hell. So, you know, she ended up fighting him off. He ended up getting knocked down. And she got her briefcase first to become, you know, the winner there. And then the men's battle was more involved up on top. Two guys got tossed. You know, obviously for looks wise, it looked like they got tossed off the building itself. Of course, they weren't, but you know, poor little Mysterio. I mean, he is one tough little guy, and he just gets, because of his size, he just really gets tossed everywhere. And he was one of the ones who went over the rail and, you know, made to look like he, you know, went down 8 stories. But rest assured, he didn't. And it was quite funny. Because as people were fighting for the you know, people were fighting for position and trying to get up there. Otis tried to get up there. And of course, to keep the comedy theme going, when he tried to get on there, he broke 1 or 2 of the rungs for the thing, which was, you know, again, pretty funny. But long story short, Otis ended up winning not by climbing the ladder, but by basically by the briefcase being taken down by 2 of the other guys and them getting beaten up and then them falling and then the case going flying and the case going flying right into Otis's hands, and then he's standing there with the case and declared the winner. Okay. None of us were going to complain about that outcome because, you know, Otis has just turned into like everybody's favorite. He's just like so freaking adorable, and the storyline with him and the girl is just too cute for words, and you know, just everybody is totally embracing this, so he's quite the entertaining one. But in a certainly in a unexpected turn of events, on Monday, Becky Lynch came down to the ring, and was talking because she's the reigning champion, and the ladder match is supposed, the Money in the Bank is supposed to be there to give whoever a shot at the title. Whoever wins that, you catch. I mean, if you don't know the rules, I mean, I was gonna say we all know the rules, but if you don't know the rules, when you have the Money in the Bank contract, you have that for up to a year. Some people cash it in, like I've seen it cashed in like the night they won it, and I've seen it, held on for almost the entire year. Basically, you get to be pretty much a vulture. You get to wait for to pick and choose your time, to pick and choose the best time, and to wait until it could be at the end of the match where the champion, even though they won, but they barely won, and they are like staggering around because they barely won their match, and now they're weak, so you could come out fresh and cash in that thing, one or two of your whatever your signature move is, and take the title. And that's happened many, many times. However, this particular time, Becky was standing out there and talking, and talking about, basically talking about her whole history, with WWE, and how people, how she was not sure that people would embrace her as a wrestler and whatnot, and basically going over things like that. And then Asuka came down because her briefcase was in the ring, and she's like, in her broken English, because she's adorable, but she does have very broken English when she talks, that she's still, whether it's an act or whether she just still hasn't completely learned the language, whether she's like Jet Li at the beginning of his career where he didn't speak a damn bit of English. But basically she came down, she's like, that's mine, and Becky was like, oh, absolutely, it's yours, but what you don't know is you weren't fighting for the briefcase, you were fighting for the belt, because I can't wrestle right now. And she opened it up, and Asuka is now the champion. And why is Asuka the champion, you may ask? Because Becky Lynch announced that she is pregnant. She is going to have an itty bitty little lass. Or lassette. Lasser. This. Laddie. There it is. Fish. My brain is not braining. I'm really not sure why, but the whole brain thing is just not working. But if you want to see an absolutely adorable reaction, pull up when Becky told Asuka. I mean, she went nuts. She was so happy for her. It was downright adorable. I mean, if you're into like adorable little things like that, but no, it was just too cute for words. It really was. And so, honestly, from a female standpoint, Becky looks happy, but really underlying nervous to me. I mean, she looks nervous about, how her future is going to go, whether she's going to be able to wrestle. I mean, she's got a lot of, and it's normal, especially when it's your first kid, and especially, for somebody in her situation, it could completely change what she does. I mean, some women do have kids and then come back, But we've seen a lot of them, once they have kids, they don't come back to wrestling. And I think, that's on her mind, and I think she's nervous about it because I think she wants both. I think she wants a family and to continue as a wrestler. And it's not impossible. It's absolutely not impossible. I just hope she doesn't put too much pressure on herself. Again, speaking from a female point, nobody else is going to put as much pressure on you as you're going to put on yourself. Trust me on that. But we definitely wish her the best. And of course, for those who don't know, she is dating Seth Rollins. Actually, engaged to Seth Rollins, last I knew. Don't think they got married yet, but I know I'm 99% sure they're engaged. And yes, they were engaged before she got pregnant, so... they're kind of cute together. So... you thumping your tail at? Oh. What? I know you hear noises outside, I know. Well then, what else? Excuse me. What else have we mentioned or not mentioned or gone over or not gone over? It's been one of those weeks. The dog is making noise in the other room. See, this is why a lot of YouTubers have soundproof rooms. Well, what are we going to do this week, ladies and gentlemen? Not tomorrow, but next Monday, yes? The 25th. Yes, next Monday is Memorial Day. So, I know a lot of people, would do cookouts and stuff like that. And, let's try to do things like that. Let's try to if you're gonna want to do cookouts and whatnot, I would suggest you get things done like this week early. Don't last minute shop if you can. So definitely try to make plans. But again, stay in your little circle. I know some people who live in neighborhoods where the houses are close enough together that they could everybody could sit on their own lawn and chit chat across the way and stuff like that. Those who get along with their neighbors. by all means, do things like that. Please, by all means, stay in contact via phone, Skype, FaceTime, whatever, what have you. Write letters and or cards. We just had Mother's Day. Father's Day is coming up. Send cards in the mail. Send a present if you could afford it. I know how money is for a lot of people. If you can't, just send a card or a letter. Stay in contact with those that you can't see right now. Especially those who are lucky enough to live alone in peace and quiet. No, I'm not salty. Even though there are people who are used to living alone and, whatever, and are content with it, it doesn't mean don't call them up and say hi. But again, some people have practiced for this social distancing all their lives. All they want is to be left alone. Which, respect them. But check in on your family and friends. Check in on, relatives who can't get out. Just touch base. A 5-minute phone call, a letter, something like that to make sure that everybody's doing okay. And to let, especially those of you who are home. How many times have we all said we don't have enough time to do blah, blah, blah? Well, some blah, blah, blah we can't do because some of it is going out to different places. But anything around the house, try to get it done. Because once we go back to work at a normal clip, once we go back to a quote-unquote normal lifestyle, you're going to look around your house and you're going to be like, why the hell didn't I do this when I had nothing but time on my hands? So, let's keep that in mind. Little tiny project or a bigger project. You want to, you want to paint the window frames of your house? You got time to do it now. Places like Lowe's and Home Depot and those places, they are open. If you have a local, smaller hardware store, they are open too. Some of them are, you just call and they'll do curbside, which is fine. Do that. They know that you're home and you have projects you want to get done. So, I personally like to do yard work. I find yard work to be very relaxing. So by all means, get that done. Just, stay hydrated because the weather's, in this area, the weather's getting warm. It's like some nights it's still frosty, but then it goes up to 70, 80 degrees during the day. It's like, heat at night, air conditioning it during the day. You don't know what the hell, which freaking button to push anymore. What else? What else, my darlings? What else? Definitely, as I sit here with me pug sleeping on my arm, definitely enjoy the time with your animals. Because they're going to go nuts when people all go back to work. They're going to be like, what the hell? You guys were home for months and now you're going away again. Do keep in mind, when you go back to work, if you've been home with your animals, don't get mad at them. Because they're probably going to show really bratty behavior until they get used to you going back to work. Do not get mad at them. Okay? Seriously. They're going to be really bratty. They're going to be like, where the hell are you? You've been home with me all day, and now you're leaving again. They're not going to like that. Okay? Do not get mad at them. They have no clue what is going on. They have no clue why we are doing what we are doing, why we are staying home, and why we'll eventually have to go back to work. They don't like when we go to work. If I do not tell Chase that I am leaving and I have to say where I am going and then I'll be back, he will throw a fit. His brother used to throw an even bigger fit. His brother would bark around the house until I came home if I did not tell him specifically where I was going. So, that's something important. They're going to be bratty, and I say bratty. And if you're a dog owner or a cat owner, you're going to know what bratty is. They might have accidents in the house. They might rip up a pillow. They might do stuff that they shouldn't do. Don't get mad at them. Exactly. Obviously, tell them what they did was wrong. Don't freak out on them. They will settle. It's gonna take time, though. They're not gonna settle the first day. Except for some cats. Some cats are probably gonna be so glad that you're out of there so they can have time to themselves, because cats are very aloof. But especially dogs. Dogs are loving this time right now. Are you kidding me? Dogs are loving it. They are getting extra walks. They are getting extra playtime. They are getting extra everything. And they're going to have to go back to a normal routine. And they are not going to be happy. I mean, straight up. They're just going to be like, what is this bullshit? You good, buddy? You're okay. You didn't have to do kisses. I was just asking if you were okay. You did the coughies. You were doing the cough, so I was making sure you were okay. I love you too. Yes, I do. See, if I wasn't an essential employee, this is what I would be doing all the time. Because this is what is just awesome, right? I wouldn't mind being home with you 24/7. No, I would not. No, I would not. It is 12:31. Yes, JC's Power Hour is into an hour and a half. For those of you who are wondering, why is this crazy bitch still there? I have tied up Brian, left him in the basement, and now you are stuck with me. No. He had to do some running around. He is on his way back. Don't you worry, never fear. Robin Hood will soon be here. Wait, wrong story. You get the idea, though. He shall be back. Don't you worry about a thing. And then he will do his own style of chit-chatting, his own music. Well, not his, his music selection. How's that? Gotta watch what you say. He'll be doing stuff. How's that? Stuff. In the meantime, doop doop boop boop boop. I mean, we could go back to talking about the WWE because it is May, and being that we just had Money in the Bank, we are edging ever closer to SummerSlam. I mean, let's think of it this way. There are only 2 more pay-per-views for the WWE before SummerSlam hits. I said last week that it wouldn't surprise me if the WWE was one of the first major sporting events to host, a live event with, with a crowd. The only show that SummerSlam takes a backseat for is WrestleMania. It is their second biggest show of the year. Now, they are handling the crisis well. I mean, not gonna lie, they're doing well. But I am sure that they would much rather, have a regular SummerSlam in front of 90, 100,000 people. I mean, it is, what's the actual date? I don't know what you're looking at. You're the one tapping my ring into the thing. Oh god, SummerSlam's right up in Boston, too. Boston's drivable distance from me. Ugh, Lord. So, it's August 23rd in Boston. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if they were one of the first, if not the first, to do like a full-on, it's at the Garden in Boston, so they could easily fill that with like 80,000 people, 70, 80,000 people. Hopefully, I mean, again, it's so hard to plan things. There's like absolutely no way to plan these things because, some of these things have to be planned in advance. You have to know what you're doing in advance. And it's May, June, July, August. 3 months from now could be an entirely different race, an entirely different thing. But, I know locally here, I'm sure locally in every state, that you guys are in, I am quite sure that things that are like a normal yearly event have been canceled because they have to be one of the biggest fairs that we all love to go to around here is the Durham Fair, and they announced that unfortunately they're not going to happen this year. And I get it. It's not something you could throw together in a week. This is something that they literally planned for months. They set up the vendors, they set up who's going to be there, the volunteers, there's like so much involved in something like this. Even though it's at the end of September that it goes on, Daddy!
Oh, my boy. Hello, everybody. Just a few minutes and I will be out. Cue up some music or something if you wish.
I know. I've been working on it here. I'm talking.
New Orleans joining us. Okay. Yeah, nice. Aw, hearts. Thank you, Facebookers. Yeah, orange. All of a sudden, they didn't have the right size. I needed a 20. They had a 14. Derby has 3 of them. Are you sure? He calls him up. He's, yeah, cool. Go to Derby. Dude's not finding him. I'm like, 10 minutes ago, you were talking to, somebody here was talking to Orange and said you had 3 of them, so you need to look. And then, of course, like I said, we all sat back and watched a little sideshow kind of unfold.
I like when those unfold. I love it when they unfold and I'm not involved in them. Because usually it's me. I've yelled at a manager or two, God knows.
Just take care of something.
I've been that guy. Once in a while. Here and there.
And
whatnot.
I get rung up, everything's done. I mean, those two are paying more attention to themselves, so they didn't even do the ring up right. Everything's all said and done. The kid's like, yeah, just bring me back a battery to get your core charge. And I looked at the guy and I was like, I handed him the battery right over here. And he was like, I told you, it's sitting over in his cart. You didn't say that. The guy walks over and he looks and he points and he's, what's that? So they start fighting again. So then I got to stand there and wait for them to have their argument to void everything, re-ring me, and then for some reason it was very difficult because the total was, say, $110. He was supposed to give me back a core charge, $5 and change. So wouldn't you just give me back 115 and change? Explain to me why the guy had to break out a calculator.
Because people are allowed to graduate school without basic math skills.
Yep.
Because once we turned over to core math, which makes no sense, people can't do basic math skills.
It was $110. You're giving me $5 back.
People can't do basic math.
You don't belong in retail.
I'm not even saying it sarcastically. People.
I'm not saying it sarcastically either. You cannot do basic math or math in general. You do not belong in retail. Get another job. One that comes along with a word. Would you like fries with that?
You have to do math if you work there.
Not if you're working behind the counter and you're a cook.
You'd be surprised.
There are people who work in those stations who all they do is cook.
There are, but most places don't want them to be like that. They want them to be both.
Well, then, you know what? Pay attention in school. Hell, I'm a dropout, and even I know that.
Basic math isn't taught anymore because everybody has a phone and everybody has a calculator. And people are like, here, do Common Core. That's the way to do it. Roof. That's not the way to do it. But anywho,
Fourth afternoon.
boy, somebody's eyes lit up.
So maybe we should supposed to have been given task.
What do you have to do?
Let's give him a check from the car.
Well, somebody wanted to say hi to you and you ignored him. His eyes lit up. He loves you. You know that. You're his little buddy.
You know I'm not
You take care of him when I go to work.
As always.
Brutus, you stay. No, I'm not working today. Couldn't make it. Okay, so we were talking about SummerSlam. Hopefully, hopefully we'll be able to make it to. But one of the things I am confident about, I mean, we were all a little sketchy about WrestleMania because, you know, again, one of the biggest things is having is having a crowd. It's a very crowd-oriented show. I mean, goodness knows. And to not have the crowd there, it definitely you definitely feel it. I mean, certainly. But I'm giving them a lot of credit in figuring out what to do and how to do it. That was attractive as all get out. Because again, after where they really did well, where they really showed what they could do. Number one, in WrestleMania, they did really well with the Edge and Randy Orton match, for not having, for taking advantage of the fact that they don't have the crowd. Since they don't have the crowd, they were able to, basically wander everywhere. And they did really well with that. And it was a really brutal match, too. A few stitches were handed out at the end of that match. They really kind of banged each other up. But that and the Undertaker AJ Styles match, since time wasn't a factor because they weren't doing it live and they could film it, beforehand, that was very, very epic, very cinematic, just absolutely well done, and really raised the bar of, an off, I don't want to say off screen because it's obviously not, of a out of venue type of a match. And they've done stuff like that before. They did a really good one years ago with Matt Hardy. Supposedly at Matt Hardy's, I don't know if it was actually at his house, but when he was, doing the Not All There character as it was. But so they definitely have been improving it, and like I said, the Money in the Bank match on Sunday was just, it raised the bar again. So we have Stomping Grounds and Extreme Rules in between now and SummerSlam. Stomping Grounds depends on, which storylines they want to push and who they want to go with. Extreme Rules, if again, going on, they can't have the venues with fans yet, and they have to think outside the box again. Extreme Rules would be a absolutely perfect place to do that, because they could do a ton of different things, and they have a couple of, they have weeks to really think, okay, what are we going to do if this has to be outside the box? What are we going to do? How are we going to make this really extreme? Since it's an Extreme Rules match, they could, basically, they have time to film it. They could do it anywhere. Again, they could do another match at another time in the WWE headquarters, but they've proven that they can use a building like that. In Extreme Rules, they might want to use something, like an abandoned warehouse, or they could really open it up to creativity. They could really just utilize any venue they want. They really, and I'm sure they are, but they should be scouting and thinking of ideas now so that they could plan. again, I can't wait until crowds could come back. Because number one, the crowds that do get to come back are going to be even more fired up than they normally are, because we've been denied, being fans in attendance for this much time. And if you've never been to a live wrestling event, to a live sporting event, to a baseball, football, I've only been to one football game, and I am like stupidly hooked on it now. It's like, it's like crack to me. I have to go back. Again, seeing one of your favorite bands in concert, seeing comedians live. To not have that right now, I mean, hell, even to not be able to go to the mall right now and just hang with your family for the day walking around, which is something that we would do a lot of times. Brian doesn't have an afternoon show on Sundays. A lot of times we would do that, right?
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm going to agree. No.
Saying how, we all used to hang out at the mall like on
Oh, yeah,
Sundays.
no, go out and do stuff.
I was saying that once we're all able to do these things again, there's going to be a heightened appreciation because we haven't been able to do them for X amount of time. So now that we can, once
everything fully opens back up, there's going to be weeks of waiting to get into restaurants.
Oh yeah. And I really just hope people are patient. I was even saying, once people
What's up, Pop?
Once people who have been home go to work, I've said to them, you can't get mad at your dogs or cats, because they're going to be brats when they get used to that schedule again, because they're so used to everybody being home. When now all of a sudden people go out, accidents are going to happen. Messes are going to be made. Garbage is going to be broken into. Pillows are going to be eaten. I need you to move, sir.
What's up, Ian? What's going on, Jeffrey? What's up, Lash? How are we doing out there? Lassie, sorry. And we had Scott on Facebook. I know we had Linda over there. What's up, David? Once again in YouTube. Obviously. I am the Connecticut Medical Marijuana Critic. You are watching Compound Concentrates and Coffee. This is the SunDaze edition. Good morning, Ian. Good afternoon, I should say, all right? Oh, yeah. Definitely afternoon. So good afternoon, everybody. Let's get right back into our music, shall we? Continuing on, Michael James, Greco. Alrighty. Continue on again. Michael James Greco. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's an educator. He's a visionary. A songwriter. Yep, go to michaeljamesgreco.com if you dig what you hear. Little Ruby Monfou. Make it through. There you go. Some Ruby Monfou right here on CC&C, Compound, Concentrates, and Coffee. We're going to check out a few things in between these tracks. Going to take a look at, I do believe I saw news of email in there. I did actually read that one, and you know what? Good for him. Yeah, a person who made a snack run. Well, that snack run led to a $1 million lottery jackpot. So, that's nice. Seriously. Good deal. I'm also going to check our roadways. It is absolutely gorgeous out there, so hopefully you can even just get out for a nice little drive. No incidents, no closures, no delays on our roadways this day. I like that too. On this day in music history. Now, in case you don't know what that is, well, I do the legwork. I look back in the annals of history and music. All different years, all different artists. And I tell you, who did what on May 17th in what year? We'll start out with 63. The first Monterey Folk Festival taking place over 3 days in California. That festival featuring Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, Peter, Paul, and Mary. The 67 Monterey Rock Festival is remembered for the first major American appearances of Jimi Hendrix and The Who, as well as the first major public performance of Janis Joplin. Also, the first major performances by Otis Redding in front of a predominantly white audience. Now, Bob Dylan in 64 made his first major concert UK appearance when he played at the Royal Festival Hall in London. Now, he did this with an afternoon show. It was listed as a folk song concert. Dylan's 18-song set, including the live debut of Mr. Tambourine Man, and it took place on a Sunday afternoon. In the interval, Dylan received a telegram from John Lennon seeking a meeting, which unfortunately never materialized. Now, speaking of Dylan, in '66, during a UK tour, he appeared at the Free Trade Hall in Manchester. Now, this was a concert where a member of the audience shouted out Judas at Dylan, unhappy with the singer's move from acoustic to rock. Dylan replied with, "You're a liar." The entire concert was eventually officially released in the bootleg series by Sony Music in 1999. That's telling them. Now, in '67, I'll do one more. The Beatles, working at Abbey Road, they began recording a new John Lennon song, "You Know My Name. Look Up the Number." Now, that song, not finished until November of 1969, and was not even released until March of 1970. And it was released as a B-side of the Let It Be single. All right, we're going to go a little R&B. A tune's called "I Don't Dance."
Stick to my sister cause I ain't got time to get all sweaty in the club like I'm astronaut. I got diamonds in my mouth, match the diamonds on my wrist. Now she holding my hand asking how much was this? Plenty more where that came from. Just don't blow me up like I'm napalm. Just breathe and just stay calm. I take you to the house in the hills for real. Take a vacation, I got time to kill. Let me just start with a drink. Then we can go to the shot. Hennessy. Then we can go to the scotch. I can put a beat. It's getting hot. She grabbing on my shirt. She should've grabbed on my pants. I got too much money. I can't dance. I don't care where you say. I'm sitting here. I'm drinking my juice. I don't dance. So don't even bother. You can dance with no hands, but this here is red bottom. Over you my necklace. I gotta wash my back. I'm not reckless. I don't dance. So don't even bother. I can't dance. There's no chance. This Balenciaga. You're looking like a clown with the sweat on your brow. Don't get it twisted. I can move, girl. I'm from the south. I can show you how I do. Pull up to the house. I got something for you if you wanna run this mouth. Let me chill out real quick. Cause shot it, kinda thin. Who the man? You with? Who cares? That's it. Dance will make her dance. Like on Juicy J. Ring up on her hand. Yeah, I don't care what you say. I'm sitting here, I'm drinking my juice. I don't dance, so don't even bother. You can dance with no hands, but this here is red bottom. Over you my necklace. I gotta wash my back, I'm not reckless. I don't dance, so don't even bother. I can't dance, there's no chance. This Balenciaga.
All right, there you go. Dolce, the artist, D-O-J-E, R&B and soul. All right, Baroque in, B-A-R-O-Q-U-E apostrophe N. It's one of the brand new tracks that comes to us from Secret Agent 23 Skidoo. Check them out. Fun perch. Where's my dog? Oh, there's in Secret Agent 23 Skidoo. Now I'm going to continue on. Let us do. There we go. It's gold. Second. It's Gold, The Sheen. That comes to you out of rock. I'm going to do a couple country tunes. We have some Dawn Bayer for you. A tune's called All I Know. All right. Well, we broached the top of the hour. It's 1:09. So I'm on for less than an hour. I'm out of here at 2 o'clock today. Got some stuff around the compound I got to do. Going to be working on one of my Harleys. I know, life. Hopefully you've had a good day hanging out with us and enjoying the music.
I've been cut so deep that I can't breathe. You can build me up and then knock me to my knees. And all I know is I just can't let you go. I just can't seem to choose.
up, buddy? What's up, buddy? How's my boy? How's my boy? Huh? How you doing? How you doing? How's the party, buddy? Huh? How's the party? Alrighty. Gonna do your He Knows coming from Layla Tucker, and then wrapping up the country block with the Ryan Roberts track, which is called She Said. Now, if you've not heard that one, well, yes, our very own Ryan Roberts has written a tune. Pause that, get that ready. All right, here we go. He Knows, Layla Tucker.
Can't he see that I'm moving on? And the same feelings that I had are gone. I know his heart can't get no rest 'cause of all the sins he did not confess. Doesn't need 2 or 3. Gotta live with his memory. He thinks I'm a little angel who won't raise a little hell. My wings are a little torn and tattered. Got a few confessions left to tell myself I'm even the preacher man knows his ways. Says his lies can't hide on Judgment Day. But the devil himself can't help it now. Since he sold his soul to that girl downtown, underestimated me, and you'll see flaming fire. It's growing inside of me. He thinks I'm a little angel who won't raise a little hell. My wings are a little torn and tattered. Got a few confessions left to tell myself I'm turn my heart into stone. I don't want you anymore. Karma's coming for me, better run. My wings are a little torn and tattered. I got a few confessions left to tell myself I'm
Once again, Layla Tucker, He Knows. You know the last name, you've heard it. Anybody who's in the country knows it. Tucker? Sure you do. Yeah, she's a relative, of course, but she's new to country music. Layla here. So give her a check. Now, as I said, this is a brand new track. It was something that was written by Ryan Roberts. And, well, it took, the way he described it was, it took 10 years, a half a bottle of whiskey, and nothing but time on his hands due to this lockdown. called She Said.
Just another day. Feels like yesterday. It's been 4 weeks since I heard the words I never thought I'd hear her say. I think it best to sit down, she said. It's just not working out, she said. I feel like I'm drowning, she said. Then I hung my head. Then she said, I don't want this life. I don't love you anymore. I got my things packed up in suitcases right there beside the door. Oh, I love you once. Yeah, you were the one that I adore. I don't want this life. I don't love you anymore. Tried to beg, tried to plead. Even got down on my knees. Whatever it is, we can fix it. Whatever it is, I can change. I think it best to sit down, she said. It's just not working out, she said. I feel like I'm drowning, she said. Then I hung my head. Then she said, I don't want this life. I don't love you anymore. There was a burning flame between us that's not burning anymore. And though I wish you well, just can't be like before. I don't want this life. No, I just don't love you anymore.
There you go. Written by Ryan Roberts. Gave you a little country block. Gonna get into some Nico Fuzz now. Absolutely gorgeous day out there, so let's go ride.
On the endless credit line, yeah. Call me Kevin Federline, I'm outrageous. It's like we pitching for the majors. I got the hooks that make you singing for the ages. We in the pack, on the inner track. I hit the apex with the flow to be contagious. Hold me up, mama, kiss me now. Lion King to the rest, better take a bow. Yeah, that's how we live, let's go get it now. Saddle up, grab your truck, let's go riding. Throttle back, hold your hands, let's go riding. Bring us up from the promised land. The slip sliding, Joe Biden. My horoscope was wrong this time. Might be a sign to move out of California. I'm so bored with ya.
There you go. Next up, let us do so many good tunes. We have over 200 tracks now for Nico Fuzz. So we could easily do a Nico Fuzz day or weekend even. Here is Broken Glass. It's a good tune. Broken Glass, Nico Fuzz. Gonna do Inadequate. Little barber sauce with Nico. Well, we have Lost System of a Down track. We are under 30 minutes, everybody. I'm out of here at 2 o'clock. Got stuff I got to do. Hey, life, right? But I will be back tomorrow morning, of course. Going to do a little Lost Van Hagar for you. It's called Chop It Up. All right, here we go. This goes out to Facebook. We have our Brian T over there who requests this a lot. It's a tune called Loose.
Let's just say, we all up in here. What's you gonna do? Let's get it going.
One more from Barbasauce. There we go. We'll do Galileo. It's one that I don't do a lot. Nico Fuzz and Barbasauce.
Racist, fascist, atheist, stupid hold up. Turn that will bring us to pride. And set us apart from the pack. With that original snap. Get it? Stupid hold up. Turn that will bring us to pride. And set us apart from the pack. With that original snap. Get that original. It's a brand new paradigm.
There you go. Some Nico Fuzz, some Barbasauce. A little block for you. As we are whittling down our time, Brent Bourgeois, Pamela Roberts, going down.
Going down.
Lance Tabor, stand up.
Stand up. Everybody's alright. Stand up. Everything is alright. Hang tough. Because you know it's true. Stand up. Just do it for you. Yeah. Dig. Stand up for the right to be you. Stand up for the right to be me too. Hang tough. We gotta push it on through. Stand up because you're taking the groove. Yeah. Look out. Stand up. Check this out. That's alright. Stand up. Everybody's alright. Stand up. 'Cause it's feeling alright. Yeah. Hang tough. Because you know it's true. Stand up. You gotta do it for you. Yeah. Dig. Stand up. Take it out. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Everybody. Stand up. Yeah. Dig. Stand up. Everybody. Dig.
All right, there we go. Echopraxia, Austin Woodward. This is where I get off. So let's do Erupt. Now, let me go. Let's go with Mortar. All right. This is where I get off. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me, of course. I do appreciate it. Compound Concentrates Coffee, Connecticut Medical Marijuana Critic, my little brainchild. I'm out of here for SunDaze. Yeah, I gotta go. You be good. You stay safe out there. Enjoy this day. Yeah, it's May 17th. Beautiful. Get outside. Chill in your yard. right, there you go. I will see you all. I've got to go. Connecticut Medical Marijuana Critic, CC&C. You be good. You stay safe. Much love and respect. Thank you for being here with me. And I know JC enjoyed it while she was doing her thing. See you all tomorrow, everybody. Be good. Stay safe out there.